What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are doing another rebuild on Madden 22. And of course, you knew this one was coming. The post-Russell Wilson trade rebuild of the Denver Broncos. Of course, a pretty good trade for the Broncos, obviously. But also, once again, the more I look at this Seahawks trade, I'm not like saying I love it, but I do gotta, admit that pick 9 kind of threw me off. I knew that was going to be a part of it, but I started thinking more and more about how valuable pick 9 is, even though Seattle once again traded off more than that technically for Jamal Adams, who's been okay, but you could go back and knowing the things you know now, you obviously don't make that trade just based on where the Seahawks ranked last season, based on win-loss and rankings that way. But we don't know how it's going to shake up, right? The Broncos were, touted as a one quarterback away team in a very good conference and, of course, specifically division. As you can see, there's just talent amongst talent here. The Raiders are kind of maybe the worst team here now, which is still not to say anything bad about them. It's just that's how talented that division is. But Russell Wilson did have a down year, obviously. A lot plagued by injury, a lot plagued by bad offensive line play. It really does change any great quarterback by a lot when you can't get enough time to throw. He should get more time in Denver than Seattle, which is saying something, because once again, even Denver's not super great on the offensive line. It's a better situation for sure, though. But like I said, on the other side for Seattle, to make Seattle fans feel better, even though Bobby Wagner is released as well, I believe, which is something that they kind of expected, right? At some point it was going to happen. It was a huge number. Maybe you should have looked to trade him. I'm not sure. Maybe it was like a post-June 1st type of thing. You could still probably have gotten the trade done before then, right? I don't know when things have to be official and all that, but getting rid of him, maybe we even sign him in this rebuild, because once again, rejoining Russ, middle linebacker is definitely a need for Denver. That'd be kind of cheese. Seahawks fans would probably be very pissed off at Denver, but once again, like I said, it's not the worst trade in the world for Seattle, especially if the reports about Russell just not wanting to play there anymore are true. You get something out of a guy that just doesn't want to be there anymore. I know you look at the other side with Green Bay, they found a way to make it work, and Russell Wilson, even though he is a little bit of a weird guy, seems a lot more level-headed, so I feel like they could have gotten through it, so I'm not really sure what the thoughts were there. I know Seattle doesn't have the greatest roster talent, but with Russell, they're definitely competitive enough. But obviously, that's all a thing of the past, as Russell Wilson is about to be a Denver Bronco. I say about to be because I wanted to actually try to trade for him here without having him already there, just to see kind of what the game's value for him is. I think it's actually pretty doable. Noah Fant, pick 9 and a first next year. Obviously, we'll add the proper stuff later, but you can only do 3 at a time. So what do you want from me? Negotiations. There's a couple of guys here that I don't know about real life. Melvin Gordon, I think he's expected to be a free agent. A lot of these other guys I do not know about. I know for a fact Teddy's gone now. I mean, he was kind of just like keep our coaching jobs afloat, even though that didn't really technically work kind of guy. But I'll hone in on this a little bit more just to make sure that we're not losing some key player in their eyes. I don't want to lose someone like Johnson when he's expected back or something. So a lot of these guys, specifically because of injury concerns, are very questionable. I think Denver, especially with less draft capital, probably looks to keep Johnson on a cheaper deal. A 2-year $15, I think, with the market is still a little high. Franchise tag, I'm going to tag him. I'm going to edit that to a 2-year $12, I think, based on his season-ending injury. And then Callahan hasn't been very healthy either. I think I'm going to edit this down to also a well, no, we're not, because he's gone. Never mind, but we're going to have Johnson be a 2-year $12, and I guess we're just going to let the majority of these guys go. The re-signings, even though they're way more more than expected, are, I guess, not going to happen. And then for Melvin Gordon, I think he's just proven himself too much to be like a backup level talent, and more importantly, a backup level contract. I think he's going to go to free agency and get a little bit of money from a team desperate for a running back. So unfortunately, I think he's going to be gone as well. I mean, I knew it was going to be easy because he's on the older side. His overall's a little lower. We are going to edit him, though. I think he's automatically an 88 in Madden, and I'm going to let that be the case, even though I think he should be higher. I think it's a little bit harsh how quick he dropped in the game just because of some real-life issues, which, once again, injuries. You know, there was injuries. Russell Wilson was playing injured, so it is what it is. But we get the trade out the gate. We also got Albert O as the starter. I don't know what I meant by that, but we also got Bobby Wagner off the team and then released him. And then, obviously, we have to give them a little bit more here. And we're still just a tad bit more. Drew Lock, who, I mean... Bye. See ya. You know, I don't really care about that. Shelby Harris even. And, like, how old is Shelby Harris? Like, did they just have no bargaining power at all? Like, could they not have gotten, I don't even know, like, I wouldn't say Chubb, but, like, there had to be someone else, right? They must have argued hard for Jerry Jeudy, and they just couldn't get there, right? Like, what about, like, one of these linemen? There's, like, billions of them. I would have asked for Glasgow, even. He's a better value and a bigger need for that team out the gate, especially if you're going to be fielding some sort of younger quarterback. Seattle, I mean, like I said, I don't want to, like, go after that one person that was just saying how dumb I was for saying Seattle would be the worst team going for years without Russell Wilson. I can't even remember if I mentioned Bobby Wagner, but obviously he's gone now, too. But, you know, hey, pal, how you doing? But let's see. This is what we own now. Obviously, Russell Wilson, but still a second-round pick, a third, 2 thirds anyways, 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 sevenths. Of course, next year, no second, so maybe you look to trade one of those thirds down to a team that's maybe desperate for, you know, maybe a second round next year just to try to build up that capital going forward. But then again, you're still kind of thinking... it's hard to tell because Russell Wilson's not a one-year guy, right? You know, the whole argument was, you know, Denver was really pushing for Rodgers. He was more of a win now, you don't really have time kind of guy. But with Russell, even though I think he's going to be like 34, you've got some time. You got some time. So building through the future for the future is still an option, obviously. So I'm not going to push it too hard. You know, to win now. I'm going to still put Russell at 86 speed. I'm not really sure what they seen that made him drop in speed. I didn't really see that as being a real big issue. I still think his deep ball accuracy is nutso mode. Throw under pressure is, I mean, I don't know why it's so low. I mean, no quarterback is quote-unquote good under pressure. But he's definitely one of the better ones, if you will. So I'm not really sure where he's, you know, they're seeing him as an 84 under pressure guy. I'm going to put him all the way up to 89, I think. Throwing the running, 92. 89 overall is a little high, so we're going to drop his awareness a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, he's still very good. Awareness doesn't matter at all, to be honest. So that looks good to me. I think that's fair. It looks good, like I said. Wide receivers are fine for now. I mean, we're looking at what you need to do on this team. You could definitely use some help on offensive line, specifically at tackle. Interior without Shelby Harris. Who, I mean, he's a good player. It's just, once again, you're trading Russell, you're releasing Wagner, you're not expecting to win in the next 2-3 years minimum. Shelby Harris is gone after that anyways, so it's just like, I'm not really sure what you get out of that. Noah Fant I can understand, but once again, even then, it's a tight end. You know, it's, I don't know. It's just, I feel like Seattle forced it, to be honest, but this is not a terrible Denver team, and you once again still have those draft picks looking to draft edge in the second round without a doubt. Still have a little bit of money to spend in free agency, I'd imagine. I don't know exactly the details of like Russell's, you know, like contract once he heads over to okay, Devontae's in free agency, nice. But when Russell heads to Denver, but I imagine he's gonna still be a little bit against their cap. I also don't know about Trent Brown, but I can't imagine he's a free agent. Of course, Mike Williams is not a free agent in real life. Bryce Callahan, once again, I think you can get him on a 2-year 12 in real life if Denver wants to. And I just don't see, even though he's injury prone, I don't see them wanting to create another issue on the team, aka the secondary. Marcus Williams will probably get paid a lot more than a 5-year 31, so we're not going to touch that. Devondre could come here, but I don't know if I see that as the big enough need. So we did, you know, kind of spend a lot of free agency cap here, but some of these contracts will be adjusted by us. Leighton Vander Esch was I wouldn't say a no-brainer, but a guy that is a little polarizing. Like, I'm not exactly sure what his market is because of the just overall downgrade in play. I gave him a 3-year 17. I think that's pretty fair. Callahan was a 1-year 11, but that'll be edited to a 2-year 12. Mostert was a 2-year 10. I think that'll be a 1-year 6. And then Elliott was a 3-year 15, which, considering as a safety and he's not even close to the best available, even though he's young, I think is just fair to keep as is. But really, the reason why I decided to pull the trigger on Elliott, despite the fact, other than the fact that we need safety, is the fact that the Chargers wanted him. I was like, you know what? We could add a player and take one away, technically, from our rivals, and I was like, it's just too much value not to go for. Although I do worry maybe that Deshaun Elliott won't be there in real life or something like that, but he's not a make-or-break-it type player for us, so... actually, you know what? I think Callahan, because of the injury concerns, is actually a 1-year 6 or a 1-year 7. Even though he's injury prone, I will say that the cornerback market in free agency is just absolutely ridiculous. It's so expensive. So 1-year 7, I think, is a little bit more realistic. But I really do like Raheem Mostert here because, once again, risking a little bit on some injury-prone players. But that's going to be the game of Denver here. The ultra lightning to Javonte Williams Thunder, without a doubt. He's a very fast man. But once again, the team is kind of set. This is, we're good to go. Now it's just the draft. All right, what do the Jags take at pick 1? Still Evan Neal. Kwanu was moved up. I changed the class up quite a bit. Houston ends up taking Kwanu. Thibodeau is probably the guy you would take there, though. The Jets get sauce. They get that sauce. I just think the Giants would have to take Thibodeau if he's there at 5. We'll actually do some sort of video on, a mock draft or something based on Madden's projections here and talk about what teams need what. But I don't really watch enough, college tape and enough of the drills and all that to, fully know, who is exactly a perfect fit for each team, but we could still talk about it, perhaps. We could use every pick we could get, but with a lot of the edge rushers being gone, we're going to end up using a 4th-round pick to move up about 10 spots with the Steelers to grab an edge rusher. It's just too big of a need. Sam Williams, absolute burner, is going to be the choice. Let's take a look. Hidden development trait, 92 speed, 90 acceleration. I edited his speed, which I don't remember giving him 92, but I suppose it's not the most unrealistic thing, right? Absolute W, though, obviously. Let's move the next round, see who's there. Once again, I don't even remember who the hell we have on our board. I did it for my last Denver Broncos rebuild, and I think I'm going to do it again. I'm probably going to move Reisner to right tackle, just going to be honest. I'm not sure how good he is, but he looks all right here. I'm going to grab Mr. Whiteside. This team needs a defensive lineman, interior specifically. That's going to be our 3rd-round selection. And then with this pick, I would like to go maybe a tight end. They're a little thin at tight end without Noah Fant, but not really sure how many of these guys are really that great. So I might just look away. All right, we trade 95 Boone and a 7 this for 93 next and 125 next on the Niners. It should have just been 95 for those two, but the way the game is, so I'm just happy to get the trade done. We needed to add a little bit of value for next year, and I think we did that with that trade. And we're going to add some speed. Wan'Dale Robinson, who is hidden development trade. I did not know that. Okay. I feel like I've seen him hidden. I just can't remember what class it is, so it is this one. We're going to grab some cornerback depth in Chase Lucas. A little bit on the slower side. I think he'd probably be more of like an 89 speed in next year's game, but still fair enough. And with this next pick, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe a fullback, actually. I don't know a damn thing about the fullbacks. I don't know if anyone knows anything about the fullbacks. Maybe there's a god fullback. I don't realize it, but we're going to grab, I feel like this guy makes more sense. I feel like I've heard this guy before. Actually, I feel like I've also said that, and then I seen the F lead, and I was like, hell no. No, I don't know about this guy, but we're going to grab him. Might not even be a real player. I don't care. He's a fullback. Who cares, Sorry, fullbacks out there. But you know what I'm not sorry about? Having you like and subscribe. Because if you subscribe, The only thing I'm going to be sorry about is the amount of happiness you're going to get, and it's just going to be so hard for you to compete with that happiness in your life. You're never going to be able to get the same feeling out of it going forward. Now, looking at this draft, some lower overalls, but we got a couple of hiddens. Obviously, Sam Williams is the automatic edge starter for us, opposite side of Chubb. Whiteside will be the automatic DT starter. He's definitely raw, but at least he's young. And then Wandale will be maybe the fourth guy, probably a return man for now. And that's pretty much it. All right, here's the official starting lineup for the first year with Russell Wilson. Not a bad-looking squad. Obviously, that offensive line's looking a little underdeveloped, but in Madden terms, that's all you could ever ask for. A bunch of star devs, and a lot of them specifically in the interior being young. The wide receiving group, I don't know what the situation is with Tim Patrick, but I'd be looking to let him go down the line. Defensively, we have two pretty solid middle linebackers now. We got a young left outside linebacker. The corners, there's some decent names here. I really can't tell what they would do in real life because Callahan, I feel like, is way better in the slot. So I kind of want him as a slot guy, but I don't know if I want Darby over OJ Moutier at the number 2 spot for size reasons and just pure talent. Their man and zone coverage is very similar. I think Darby's like 2 or 3 man, a little bit, higher. The interior of the line definitely needs to be looked at, but defensively, it's really just interior of the line, maybe an upgraded corner. Outside of that, it's good. And then offensively, maybe tight end, and then potentially another lineman. But it's definitely a good squad, and that 79 overall, I imagine, is going to jump quite a bit. Come to think of it, if Seattle really is going to be as bad as people think they are with the quarterback class coming up, this could be a pretty genius move. And, of course, we lose to the 0-4 Seattle Seahawks. Russell just gave, he just threw one to the Seahawks. He was just hoping, hey, if the Seahawks look bad, if they get rid of me and they don't get a good quarterback back, but if they get number 1 overall, they're looking pretty good, right? So, Tevin Coleman with an AN. I know Tevin Coleman. I know that, man. I want him. Tevin Coleman actually was one of my favorite Madden players, ever, really. Obviously, in real life, he was pretty cool, too, but every time, it's a 23-year-old. So, re-signings. Dalton Reisner, a 3-year 27, seems about fair. The team seems to have money. I don't really know about Bradley Chubb. In past rebuilds, I did let him go the majority of the time, but in this one, I might be willing to keep him. I mean, he's just not that great, though. A 4-year 40 isn't crazy by the market nowadays, but 6.5 sacks halfway through the season is pretty good. So, I mean, a 4-year 34 would be a lot nicer, but we'll see what we can do. Head to the playoffs, 9-7, a chance to make the playoffs, I imagine. And yes, 10-7. But this is why Denver paid the price for Russell Wilson, is to get past this Kansas City Chiefs team. The question is, will they? I don't know. But Cortland Sutton had himself a hell of a year. You can see, quick look. And Russell Wilson also following same suit with a really good season himself. Javonte Williams was great. Tim Patrick was decent, which is weird because I had Judy as the number 2 and the number 2 in the slot, yet he was still way behind Tim Patrick. I don't know how that's possible, but Reisner not bad at tackle. Chubb, 12.5 sacks, 11.5 for Sam Williams, 6 for Kinsley Keke. I mean, not really great outside the edge, but that's where we were trying to focus on. So, not bad. Obviously, Chubb, we gave him that 4-year 35, which it's tough to say in this market, but with the injury and, the not having the greatest season in the world, I felt like it was fair. We've seen people with better seasons get about, not too much more than that. So, I don't know. I just feel like that was fair. Russell Wilson, though, number 2 on the MVP list. I wanted to see if, maybe Locke was there. Let's take a look at the rest of it. So, Russell kind of just losing out barely on the awards. Sam Williams, fair enough, 11.5 sacks is Rookie of the Year, caliber. Sutton with best wide receiver. I'm not going to force his dev or anything like that, but if he went to Superstar, that would be pretty sweet. He also had a camp breakout, but, not really expecting a whole lot there. Those camp breakouts are really tough, let alone winning one, but both for the Superstar is pretty rough. But 2 overall is lower than the Chiefs, which is still good, right? The Chiefs are a very high overall team. I don't know if we're going to see a Stafford, Tom Brady situation. The Denver Broncos are good, but they have a little bit tougher of a task in that division. So we'll see. Be crazy to see it happen again, but nevertheless, here it is. If you beat the Chiefs, you can kind of beat anyone. So not off to the worst start. Down by 8 now, though. Still down by 8. Looking okay. Down by 11. We're still in it. We're still in it. Driving down the field. You get the touchdown, but not the 2-point, I would assume it was. Down 12. You drive down and you don't score. But Alexander Johnson, who's actually up for contract, saves the season. 4 minutes left, but it's the Chiefs. And you can see here, they're not only trying to waste the clock, they're trying to win the game. And I think they did. Did they? The clock is not, it doesn't matter, actually. I didn't realize it was second. I thought it was going to third. Unfortunately, with all the opportunities that Denver had, they just blew it. Just too many blown opportunities, and ultimately, they will get knocked out of the first round, which is harsh. But I suppose at least they're in the playoffs. Russell Wilson, we'll see how he played. Can't imagine it was too well. Once again, that offense did struggle hard. And he didn't throw any picks, but also didn't elevate the team the way he needed to and the way this team, expected him to. But still early. It was the first season with the team. They also cheated and got him off of his very unoffable get. I don't know. I was gonna say ungettable off. Words, dude. Words. McManus also missed a kick, but that is kind of like a sim thing rather than a realism thing. If they're gonna sim us to lose somewhere along the line, you have to you have to miss a field goal or an extra point or throw a couple of picks, whatever it may be. So, I still don't like McManus and sim too much, but we'll just relax. We'll deal with it for now. But we did get Draymond Jones back. Dallas versus really Cleveland. So Kansas City took our spot and then just blew it. I suppose the Browns did win, but still. We have about 40-some mil, I believe. We have a few guys to get back, but I don't think we're going to be paying them. I don't think Callahan or Johnson is going to get another contract. They're just going to regress on top of just being not the best available talents, right? I really do like Alexander Johnson, but you have Browning waiting in the mix. You have Kyle Vander Esch as the starter now. Raheem Mostert wasn't great, but that's not terrible money. How did he play? Yeah, he just wasn't great. So before we head into free agency, let's take a look at the actual squad and what our needs are. Tight end is amongst one of the highest. Alberto is all right, but he needs a contract. I'd rather pay him backup money rather than him being a starter. Cortland Sutton, I believe, was only star before, and obviously he deserved a dev up, so I'm not even sure why I'm saying was probably a star before. Let's go with mid and elite, and then red zone threat is pretty good in general. Russell's an 89 overall. He probably should boost a little bit. I kind of debated on if I was going to do this or not, but Russell, in today's quarterback era, still has at least a half decade left to play. I think it's only fair that he does get his ratings boosted or drained based on how he plays, just because, once again, he is still pretty freaking young. So I think those are fair. 92 overall after that season. An almost MVP. He would get a lot of, nods for that award. I don't know how Mahomes played, but just basing the fact that Russell Wilson goes to a new team and he plays the way he did, I think you would definitely give him a lot of credit and, potentially even MVP. But Sam Williams also goes up in dev, which is amazing. Chubb should have probably went up in dev, but I'm not going to force that. Looking at what we need, middle linebacker is still a need. Interior D-line is by far the number one, though. And then we could use a tight end. So we're going to be looking around at pretty much every option, with basically the interior, the D-line being the number one. The question is, can we fill any of that in free agency? So Rodgers, obviously on a long-term deal with Green Bay in real life. I really should have just edited that. I forgot to. Hawkinson is not going to be a guy we're going to go for. I have a video. I don't know when it's going to come out. It was actually I planned on coming out Hey, I'm not. Whoa, hey, I'm not ready for that. No, but I planned on it coming out yesterday, but a whole bunch of NFL news came on. I was like, I'm just not even going to do it. But long story short, the reason why Hawkinson's ever in free agency here is because the Lions never released Jared Goff. They never released Trey Flowers. Those are the names that get released IRL for a guy like Hawkinson. It's just unrealistic for him to be here. So maybe if there's a different name, but not him specifically. Montez Sweat, sorry, pal, a little too late. Just a little. Levante David could be nice, but I feel like you need to develop someone at this point. Dexter Lawrence, I've seen that move a lot, but like he is just really solid. I think a more realistic move, even though we've seen it a lot, is Matthew Ioannidis. I think he would be a guy that definitely could hit free agency very, very soon. So we're going to grab Matthew Ioannidis on a 1-year 9, which is good money for all parties involved. And I don't know if we're going to find anything else here. I highly doubt it. This team, honestly, if we get Matthew Ioannidis, is in a spot of luxury. Especially, I forgot about, we also offered Akeem Davis-Gaither. The fact that Browning is a 24-year-old, 25-year-old maybe even already, it doesn't appease me for him to start. I know they drafted him, in the 3rd round, but honestly, I don't see it. Whereas Akeem Davis-Gaither is a bit more developed. He's star already. The contract is set, so you're getting him for 3 more years, whereas Browning, I think, is 2 more, and he hasn't even really started yet. And I just feel like, I don't know, dude. I just don't want to start Browning. I think maybe even trade him off, honestly, which it probably doesn't give you a crazy haul, but maybe even trade him to Seattle because they don't have Bobby anymore and get like a 4th back, which, I mean, I'd be down, obviously. A 4th from them and a 6th from us, which I don't think they have this year, but next year. And no, really, they don't want that. That's a little surprising. I mean, I get it's a high 4th, and we're not a high 5th or 6th. Not a great win for us, but I suppose, it's like a mid 4th if you count our 5th round in there. Not the worst trade, considering. Getting value back at a player that, you kind of didn't make the right choice on in this scenario. But I will say it's been a while. Ooh, it's not looking good. But it's been a while since tight end has been our number 1 need. And this guy, there's not a lot of talent there. But this guy, I think, is probably worth grabbing. He is very athletic, despite the fact that he's tiny. So it's not, he's heavy, so that obviously it is impressive. But as far as height goes, he is pretty short. But yeah, I think that's a clear-cut grab, right? I mean, that just stands out. It's just without a doubt, it just stands out. Yo, what are these DTs? It's not really even the biggest need anymore, but this guy, I mean, he's not the craziest in the world, but he's definitely good enough to take, especially a 3 to 4 rounder. And then this guy, I mean, look at this. I mean, that's nutso. How do you? I mean, I'm not fully all in on the DT we have, so why wouldn't I? Of course, that bench press is just awful, but the A-power move is intriguing. But Sampson is an obvious must grab, and then Reynolds may be a must trade up. It's some of the stuff that we need the most, and I mean, he looks pretty good. Oh, damn, we don't have any 2nd round this year. Never mind, that DT is way out of our range. We're going to make a pre-draft trade of Tim Patrick, 86 and 118 for 64. I want to make sure that we end up grabbing that other DT, the 3 to 4 rounder. I want at least him. And I still would like to get an actual wide receiver for the future, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of tough. I mean, there's not a whole lot we need outside of the interior of the D-line now. Oh, actually, the tight end. The tight end. We need to get even higher than where we just were, I think. We're going to trade Hamler, 90 and 97 for 55. We are definitely thinning out at wide receiver, but the guys we have, I think, are starting caliber. And once again, Hamler did go pretty high. Injury concerns, but we kind of just didn't have a spot on him for, a starting roster spot. So Cincinnati, who could use some speed, definitely would appreciate that trade. And yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to go with the trades we made. We thinned out a little bit on our draft picks, but we most likely narrowed down on some solid starters. So we have our 2 guys that we absolutely want. The question is, are we going to get them? Obviously, we traded up a decent bit to get where we are, so I'd be very disappointed, if we made those pre-draft trades, jumped the gun, and didn't land them. We'll see, as they both appear to be there. Obviously, we don't know as much about the tight end. I did put him on my list, but I didn't get to see, but he's just so fast. The fact that he's 6'3" maybe tells me that he's also a good blocker. I'm going to take the risk. Jeromepkr, and he is hidden, and he is very, very fast. Change of direction is terrible, which makes no sense considering his agility, but that's a good pick. We're happy to see it. New starting tight end. Who dat? Now, 26 in the 4th. All right, fair enough. That's, kind of far from here, but the DT, that's kind of what we're aiming at. Looks good. 1 to 2 round talent. I mean, this should be a good pick. 74, 75 overall. And more importantly, hidden development trait. Automatic starter. I think that maybe makes Whiteside a backup, which in fairness, he probably shouldn't have been a starter in the first place, but we were desperate. So he'll be the backup. He'll develop behind the scenes. Maybe we get a good haul for him in the future. Maybe he takes over for Draymond Jones. All of these things are possibilities. Who is this guy? This guy falling hard. 22, not the craziest athlete. B, finesse. I feel like it's one of those guys that's you can definitely work with. Maybe we even go for him. The problem is that B can be very, very random. Like, you just don't know. That could be like 70 finesse, and he's like a 60 like flat overall, which would just make him terrible. All right, he's a 2 to 3 round guy. I'm hoping he's good because he's fast. We need a backup running back. We're just going to go for him. Whatever. I don't feel great about him, but we're going to grab him anyways. Oh, is that not my pick anymore? Wait, he's not even close to our pick? Oh my god, I'm so dumb. How the hell is it pick 6, though? Did we maybe just go to, like, the first pick in the 4th round, and then it just kind of went down from there? Either way, Baker's still there, so awkward, but still is ours. And a lot slower than I thought. A 4.41, I would assume would put you somewhere in the 90s for speed or excel, but apparently neither. That sounds like a bust of a pick, if we're going to be honest. The Jets gave us a 4th round next year for our late 5th. You just can't deny those. That could be almost 2 full rounds jumping up. At worst, if they win the Super Bowl, it's still basically a full round of a jump. And let's be honest, they're just not projected to win the Super Bowl. And then this DT still here. I'm just going to grab him. I don't care how bad he is. 85 strength. Don't know how bad he is, but a round 1 guy falling to the 7th. You just don't know. If only I could have grabbed a wide receiver backup or middle linebacker backup, I would have been pretty happy with the draft, but really just didn't see anyone I like for either positions near the end of the draft. Only a 69 overall for the tight end, but once again, he's hidden, and he's, more importantly, 4 years younger than Alberto. And like I said with that run block, he is a very good run blocker, actually. You'd be very disappointed with his injury and his traits, but he's not a bad tight end. We'll take a look at his dev, just in case. Maybe he's like Superstar or X Factor, which would just be crazy. Highly doubt it, but we'll see. His dev is star. He also is wearing number 83, which is... It's good to see a tight end actually with a tight end number. And then here's Samson, who we thought was going to be pretty good. He's a little raw. He's got spin move, no bull rush, no swim. It's really, unfortunate. But since it's a rebuild, it doesn't actually matter too much, so you're not too mad about it. But I will say, if this is user class, you would be very disappointed with the fact that you landed in a super athletic tight end who was hidden, a pretty athletic DT who was hidden, who looked pretty good, and both of them, their traits were kind of iffy. That would be pretty devastating, but once again, thankfully, we're in a rebuild, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do want to see that DT. I can't remember his name to be... oh, there it was right there, actually, Montrell. Pick 32. I was actually going to go to like 30 to try and grab him because he was a 1 to 2 rounder that's usually, 30 to pick 7. But Montel Reynolds, very, very solid. I mean, this guy's pretty damn good. He's looking pretty good out the gate. What's his development? It is star. Kind of expected, but still, it's pretty damn good. He's a really good player. Freaking A, and a B. It's just insane. So we already know about the draft class. We obviously signed Ioannidis. Would like a little bit more depth at running back. Could use some higher overalls at wide receiver, but I think at least Jerry Jeudy, if he actually picks it up, should be fine. Offensive line, maybe you look for a new tackle at some point because Garrett Bowles is 31 now. Defensively, though, interior definitely got better because you have Samson, who's like a long-term guy. Ioannidis, you maybe look to replace him in free agency with someone similar. So then maybe Draymond Jones needs to go after next season. Corner we got to look at. I don't mind OJ Moutier or OJ Moot. I don't care, dude. But is he a guy I'm going to re-sign this season? I don't know. He's 78 overall, 25 years old. How much higher of a ceiling does he really have here? I'm not sure. And then we'll be paying attention to edge because even though we did pay Chubb, you can definitely see that, speaking of ceilings, his ceiling isn't too high either. You know, he's kind of locked in here as like an 80, maybe 83 overall max player, and I just don't know if that's good enough. Of course, he had a good season, no dev up, unfortunately, but we'll see how he plays this season and go from there. As I believe we will have our first-round pick back as well. I didn't see how Tevin Coleman was, but why is every single one of these guys 23? The prospect spotlight, always 23. I don't know why. And he was normal development trait. It doesn't really look super special either. It's just every single time, it's a terrible player. So Russell Wilson needs a contract, and I mean, I think it's clear-cut to say that he's at least getting a 4-year, 166. Even that might be a little low, but it's fair enough. If he's in a spot where he's happy, maybe he doesn't care as much. Let's actually take a look how Jerry Jeudy's playing. And if he's playing well, he's going to get a long-term contract. I mean, it's better yards per catch, 8 touchdowns. We're only 7 games in. That looks like he's on par for about a 1,200-yard season. We'll do a 4-year, 44.4. That's about 11 per. It's fair enough. Moutier, I think, is a 3-year deal because we're not going to keep Darby anyways. So if he has to be a number 3, that's still worthy money. And then we have some linemen, which we will be paying as well. All right, should be another playoff season. They're not going to show it, but we were 10-6, and did we win? We won against the Chiefs, which makes us 11-6. Not quite good enough to steal the division, but a good season nonetheless. Russell Wilson, less of a good season than last year, but still very, very good. Javonte Williams was also worse. Jeudy was way better. Worth the 4-year 44 we gave him. Maybe gets the superstar. How good was that rookie tight end? 844, 9 touchdowns. That's great. Wan'Dale Robinson was decent as well. O-line blocking was okay. Edge rush was great yet again. Sam Williams has been amazing for us so far. The interior was better. It's a weird team because, once again, it doesn't feel like we had a better season because the offense definitely played worse, but the defense, that edge, has been like really good. I don't know how, but they just have been. Rodgers makes his way to the Panthers, wins MVP. Not very realistic. Once again, we know that he's signing some sort of extension, so at least for the first few years here, he's not going to be, on a different team. Reynolds, of course, wins the Rookie of the Year. Not really surprised by that. He was really good. Jerry Jeudy, the best wide receiver for the AFC side. I don't know how that compares to the NFC side, but like I said, maybe superstar, which would be clutch. The Ravens, a beatable team, but also a very good team. So we'll see. They probably view the same thing for us, but obviously we do have a bit more balanced of a squad. We just need playoff Russell Wilson to just engage and just take over, because that's the reason why Denver got him. They didn't want to just have a chance at winning the division. They don't really even care about that. It's just competing, being able to potentially beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and then make the Super Bowl and win it. But as of right now, it's not looking super good. It's doable, but once again, it's not the prettiest look here, as we're going to be one and done again. Oh, the clock's running, dude. The clock's running. Hurry. I almost didn't get that ball off. Throws it up. I mean, he's got a chance, and it's going to be picked off. Good try, or almost picked off. I mean, under 200 yards in the playoffs. This is early career Russ we're getting here. What is this? What is this? Regular season's pretty good, and then it's game manager Russ in the fourth in the playoffs. I don't understand what's happening here. I don't get it. I'm not changing the playbooks or anything like that. Are we at least getting a good ground game, and that's what's causing us to go away from it? I mean, kind of, I suppose, but the offense is just terrible. Back-to-back years. Once again, the Ravens are a decent defense, but the Chiefs really aren't, to be honest. We're heading into year 3 of the Russell Wilson experience. And we don't have a playoff victory, let alone a Super Bowl berth. Definitely not the plan. Denver being in this situation is cool and all, I don't think they would look back on this trade saying it's an absolute W as Rodgers wins an MVP with Carolina. Once again, I just don't. It's just not a thing that's going to happen. Of course, DevOps, none for Javonte, who obviously had a down year. Jerry Jeudy obviously went to Superstar, which is really nice. So 2 Superstar wide receivers. The receivers aren't a problem anymore. I wouldn't say anymore, but, they weren't really a problem to begin with. Defensively, no DevOps. And once again, Chubb, he just has not moved in overall. Obviously, a lot does come to the fact that he's not Superstar. He is older. And, that's kind of it. That's the only 2 things that matter. But this is why, even though he's playing really well, his overall isn't super great. This is why I didn't want to invest too highly into him. And I think it's been fair. We have quite a bit of money, so we can actually spend in free agency if we have to. I kind of want to keep Albert O, but 77 overall tight end who didn't really play because he's a backup doesn't really roll off the tongue when you're talking about what you need to spend on. Of course, Matthew Ioannidis is a very solid player, but once again, a 2-year 16 isn't my favorite contract. I'd rather let him hit the open market, not really get anything higher than that, and then either we get someone better or he comes back on a similar deal. Russell Wilson, still a 92 overall. I didn't boost him, obviously. I don't know. I think he played well enough to stay where he is. Offensive line, there's not really much you can do to upgrade it unless you replace Garrett Bowles, which is a possibility because, you can see there his cap number is kind of like almost a superstar tackles number, although he's playing pretty well still. So, it comes down to if there's anything there. Right end obviously need a replacement. I'm not fully all in on Draymond Jones. We can obviously get rid of him. He could play backup. He's not really being paid that much. It's like 6.5, 7 this year. Cornerback would be up there. So, if we see a good corner, we're jumping on it. If we see a good D lineman, we're jumping on it. Hesitant about tackle, and then edge I'm hesitant on because, once again, Chubb is playing well. His overall just isn't very good. It'd be nice to see a big-name corner here. Rodgers goes to free agency after, taking that team to the Super Bowl and winning it. T. Higgins is cool, but not really that guy. Adoree Jackson's actually a 1-year deal, which isn't terrible. 85-man, 83 zone. We'll think about it. Fletcher Cox would be like that perfect replacement for Matthew Ioannidis. Ronnie Harrison. So we're not seeing the cornerback that we were hoping to see. Adoree's good for a year. I don't know if it's... you maybe even argue that Darius Slay's better. Let's see. He's more of a zone coverage guy, but I do like Darius Slay better. I wouldn't say that this is a team that, you'd be looking to, have these old guys for a one last stand type of thing, but a guy like Slay could add just enough to get you to the Super Bowl. So we're going to try to offer him enough to get him here. Once again, it's not the same as Deshaun Elliott, where, maybe we could have went for free agency guy, but we wanted to steal from a different team in the division. That's not the case here. We just kind of want him. And there was another guy we wanted. It was Fletcher Cox, although I don't really like the price points. I'd actually I don't like the price point of Leonard Williams either, but he is very good. I'd rather this be like a 2-year 21, to be honest. If he... hey, I was just kidding. I meant a 2-year 20. It's actually not a bad contract. I know he's an 83 overall, which is a little high to spend on, but he's very good. He's super good for that rating. 87 power move, 85 block shed. He's like Matthew Ioannidis, but actually good at block shedding as well. And he's the same age. So, I don't mind that. If he stays, I'm cool with it. That guy was in the draft. I don't think he goes to free agency that quickly, but apparently EA is like, nah, he does. I trust us. We know. But speaking of tackles, there just isn't one of those big-name guys. So, once again, we're kind of almost in luxury mode. We'll look for best available outside linebacker, best available corner, best available tackle, and we may just be drafting for the future rather than for right now. It's going to be so dumb if Darius Slay decides to choose Washington over us, because I bumped it to a 1-year 13. He's still not going to join us. I just already know it. It's without a doubt. Oh, he did join us. 1-year 13 for Darius, 2-year 20 for Leonard. Still have 33 mil left. We already paid Russell. I can't really think of a name that we have to pay that's super huge, right? This team doesn't have any crazy named guys like Simmons. That's a savings, to be honest. Sertan obviously will be a guy that does cost maybe like 12 to 15 per. Javonte Williams, that's like probably 8 to 9 per. Elliott needs a contract, which kind of sucks. Bowles will be cheaper if we want to keep him. Van Der Esch. So we are kind of losing some big names, but as far as a purely financial standpoint, we're in an okay spot. So yeah, tackle is definitely very high up there for list of needs. I'd say corner maybe a little bit higher, just because we could actually start a corner anytime we wanted, whereas tackle we'd have to wait anyways. But there was actually more than this, so one of the corners actually dropped off. And man, this cornerback group looks pretty bad. This is the guy that dropped off from the first to second round. But I do like the speed. I think that actually helps us, because I think I'm still willing to take him. But you also have Marco Binns. Yeah, I think we're going to be focusing a little bit on cornerback in this class. Damn, a 4-3. Some fast corners. I think these three are going to be my guys that I fully scout. Although, even though he's a prospect guy, Dalton Highsmith, even though he's also 23, is starting to intrigue me a little bit. I think we have our clear-cut first-round guy. 1 to 2 round, 4.6, pretty decent. A finesse, 22 years old, prototypical edge height. I like him a lot. I think we have to draft him. We have no choice. We're going to maybe even move up to get him. I think it's just clear-cut, right? It's just too obvious of a move not to go with it. All right, so we have pick 23, and I think that's the pick that is going to be good enough to grab this edge rusher. Seattle with the number 1 overall pick, which just speaks volumes to that trade decision. Hopefully he's there. Oh, there he is, Calvin Bush. Mr. Calvin Bush, I didn't see anything else that I needed to look at. I mean, he just looks like a prototypical good player. Even if he's normal, he's going to be the future edge sometime. He is normal, but I still feel really good about him. I really do. So he'll probably even share snaps with Chubb and Williams a little bit, just a little bit. So we're going to be moving up 7 spots from 55 for a 4th-round pick this year to the Niners, which we will be taking a cornerback. A lot of those cornerbacks look really good, very fast, and we need a cornerback for the future. Once again, going very future-heavy in this draft. I don't mind it because they are very talented-looking players, super speedily. I imagine good things. Normal development trade again, but 93 speed, 90 excel. He looks pretty good athleticism-wise. You know, those abilities are actually not super common to find. And I may trade very high here because I really like a tackle prospect. There's a couple of good centers, but I want a true tackle to play, our tackle spot going forward. This guy looks pretty damn solid to me. I mean, he is good, but it sucks because it's just such a common thing to do, but the centers look just as good, unfortunately, as usual. I think Lindholm is probably the best, but I think we're going to go with the classic wait until there's only one left situation. So we trade up using our only 4th-round pick remaining from 87 and move up to 76, which, once again, is 11 spots in the 3rd round. That's pretty high. I think that's pretty fair evaluation. So let's make this trade, or make this selection after the trade. The final remaining guy was Presley in the end, and once again, I do think he's going to be good. Please be hidden. Man, did we take the L in this class. Of course, I do imagine the first 2 guys are going to be decent overalls. I at least hope so. But I really thought this was going to be the class where we just went absolutely ham and we drafted a bunch of hiddens and just went off. But wow, we didn't draft a single hidden. The trades have been flying in. We traded a 6th round this year, a 5th round next year for Seattle's 5th this year, which is even a little bit debatable there. But, whatever. We gave them some extra picks. We need a running back. This guy looks pretty damn fast. I don't know about anything else, but looks pretty damn fast. Got to be in the 90s for excel and speed, hopefully. And yeah, normal development trait, but 94 speed, 91 excel. He's a very good player. Well, just based on athleticism. I mean, he might just suck, but as far as a running back goes, at least in Madden, that's kind of what you need the most. Well, maybe not in Sim, but my inner actual playing franchise is coming out. And it's a 7th-round quarterback. Why not? Oh, I guess I can't. Thank you, game. Everyone gets Zach Vincent. You get Zach Vincent, and you get Zach Vincent, and you. Everyone gets Zach Vincent. Why not? Honestly, don't understand what's wrong with this game. I really don't. Let's take a look at those overalls. And yeah, like I said, I mean, it's not as high. I thought one of these guys would be like 76 plus, but it is a bunch of talented players. Spin move, bull rush. If only it was swim. Once again, doesn't matter for us, but just talking my inner user, that swim is just so much better than spin. But obviously, a very good player like we expected. Mac Joseph, normal development trait, but also looks pretty damn good. I mean, this guy could be a future starter for us. I already want to put him in the slot, but realistically, Moutier, who got paid, probably has to be the slot again, even though Joseph here looks like the perfect one. And then Presley, unfortunately, normal development trade. That did not work out at all. Here's the running back. They took a tackle with that last pick, which is unfortunate. Now, the running back is pretty good. He's even got a little bit of trucking, just enough. He's got 2 catching abilities, which are the only ones you care about for a running back. Possession and run after the catch, plus the fight for yards. Not bad. Imagine this guy would have been hidden, but Cal Aldridge. At the least, they took a 22 or younger guy. I do want to take a look at 2 players, though. A couple of players, 2 positions. I want to go to the cornerback that we could have had. Where was he? How high did he go? Maybe he was in the second round. It was a corner, wasn't it? I don't think it was offered. I thought this guy was bad, but apparently not. He's hidden. Oh, yeah, Kevin Turk I really liked. Normal development trait, but a 76 overall. Could play safety as well. And then Binns, who's also normal. I mean, you look at these guys, and our guy probably was the worst, but surprisingly enough, they were all normal, which is just unexpected. Here's the prospect guy. Once again, normal development trait. Not a bad player by any means, but normal, as always. And then obviously the centers who are going to all be hidden. Kyle Lindholm, hidden development trait. And then the center Pritchett, hidden development trait, as expected. Yep. Gotta love it. You actually want to take a position of need. A tackle, normal development trait. You want to, switch a center to tackle. It's always going to be hidden. So, I mean, it's unfortunate the way the game is coded, but I mean, I guess you just got to play into that, I guess. All right, 2024 season. So year 3 with Russell at the helm. 89 overall Sutton. 87 overall Judy. 75 overall Wandale Moore. Robinson. Needing a contract for Javonte. Looks really good, obviously. He's played pretty well outside of last season. O-line is developing. They, maybe need a new left tackle. Thought we were going to get that with Presley. Did not get it. Linebackers, Bush may be the starter even up, as early as next year. He's the backup at like every spot, so he should get some playing time still anyways. Cornerbacks, Darius Slay is a huge addition. Leonard Williams is a huge addition. This is a good enough squad to make the playoffs yet again, and potentially, depending on if Russell actually wants to play well in the playoffs, maybe surprise some teams. Once again, adding Russell Wilson doesn't automatically make Denver the best team in the league. With the Rams, they were a very, very good team already. Not that the Broncos aren't, but they're a little bit further away than the Rams were, in my opinion. Only time will tell. But as far as this rebuild goes, it's starting to seem that way so far. But if Denver can at least get back to the Super Bowl, and obviously if they win it, I mean, it's probably a success, whereas Seattle seems to be the bottom of the league now. So no matter how you want to spin it, it just doesn't seem like it's been a good decision for Seattle at all. All right, my least favorite time, Justin Simmons re-signing time. He's just in a weird spot with age. Javonte has deserved a contract. I think something like a 5-year 40. I mean, running backs don't get really paid that often, so 5-year 40 is probably fair. Patrick here needs to be paid a little bit more per year, and I want to lock him up longer. So a 6-year, let's just make it an even 100. 100. Yeah, 6-year 100. Let's go, 100. Elliott, more or better than I expected. I want to keep one of the safeties, and Elliott might make more sense long term. He'll be almost the age of Justin Simmons by the time his contract runs out, whereas Simmons needs a contract now. I'd prefer this to be even a 2-year deal. I'd give him a 2-year 30, so if he's down... Oh my god, dude, just suck it. Is there actually a way to change the way the contract is structured, by the way? That would be news to my ears. I mean, it just seems like they balance it out year to year, right? I don't know, but Quinn Miners, obviously, 5-year deal, worth like 46 whatever mil. Good deal for us. And maybe Vander... Nah, no chance for Van Der Esch. We're losing a couple of players here, but we also will have a good amount of money to replace players with. Garrett Bowles isn't actually terrible, but I'd rather wait once again until to see what his regression is like. And then for Simmons, I think it's probably going to be a GG unless the tag's under like 18 mil. Even then, that's just a lot. I would like the tag to be around 14. This was the best year by far, and it could be a bye week year, and it is at 15-2. We swept the Kansas City Chiefs. I have run the Packers playbook ever since year 2 because, of course, Nathaniel Hackett. And, yeah, nothing has changed. Just a really good season, simply put. I'll show you guys the, what is it called? The staff. I haven't changed the defensive scheme at all either because obviously it's been really good. I might even go with the Denver defense going forward for 3-4s because the numbers look pretty damn good to me. Courtland Sutton was up there for numbers. Obviously Russell Wilson was debatably the best quarterback in the league depending on those picks. Might be MVP with that. Javonte Williams was decent enough. Receivers, like we said, very good stuff. McGee, not bad. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's just existing at this point. Offensive line was the best it's been. Williams is just god tier. I don't know what is up with him, but I love it. Leonard Williams, speaking of, he's like, you talking about me, boss? It's like, I mean, kinda. Elliott with 6 picks. I mean, the man has been a great addition to the team. McManus, I let him go because, of course, he's going to regress even harder, and we've seen the kickers. It's just kind of random, so you're going to sign some random guy. And Rustler with the MVP. That's what we're talking about. MVP Russell Wilson. And that is the juice. We actually got a lot. This could be the year. This could be the year. All right, the Ravens, we lost to them once before. We're only an 88 overall yet again. Feeling like we're just undervalued here. We should be better than this, but apparently we're not. I thought we would have been, but I guess not. But let's move on to the Chargers, I believe, beat the Chiefs. I mean, if we win this, it's, an AFC West Super Bowl regardless, but a very good chance to go to the Super Bowl and win it. 14 all, 21-14. Oh, that was a chance, dude. Up by 10, though. Still looking pretty good. Drive down, they don't get anything. That's a win. That is a victory. We are going against the Chargers in the conference championship round. Come on, Russell. Tell me you played well. I mean, that's good. That's good. We'll take it. Had a couple of rushing touchdowns on top of it, so a very good balanced attack. What about the sack totals? Really nothing in the postseason. Elliott, dude. Such a good season for this young man. He's been worth every penny, and he really didn't get paid that much the first time, but 10 mil per for a safety after that has been worth it for him, obviously. He should be pretty happy. Quinn Miners didn't realize they made him into an agility-type blocker, which is not really the best thing you want to do for an interior guy, but fair enough, I guess. Jerry Jeudy, route runner, of course. 90 overall now. Doubt he goes to X Factor, but a sliver of a chance. Very balanced receiver. Jerry Jeudy slow, starts a little slow sometimes like he did in this one, but he always becomes one of the most balanced receivers you can get outside of the guys that are like already 90 overall X Factors, Chargers, championship round. Come on. I don't know what the season was like, if we beat them multiple times or they beat us multiple times, but you got to like your chances. This damn division, dude. If I was Russell, I'd almost debate I would have maybe waived that damn trade clause and be like, nah, you send me somewhere else. That's the thing, though. The NFC is, more of a prime target for quarterbacks, but obviously you're just not going to trade unless you're in the Lions. Your starting quarterback inter-conference, but then again, Seattle is in that situation where best available trade is what they needed because at the end of the day, they're not really competing anytime soon. What's the sitch? 3rd and 10. This is manageable. I think Sampson's technically the worst defender here, so I'll user him. I just kind of want to see it happen. The spin move, and I'm not coming in. They get him down. We'll call the timeout. And we'll kind of see if they can at least get close, and then maybe we'll make one play to get them in field goal range or something. We'll see. It's going to be a pretty good punt from them as well, I imagine. To the 1! I'm going forward in our franchises because the AI sucks at punting in-game. I think we're going to have to just sim the punts. And they got safetied! No shot, dude. The potential Super Bowl season ends basically on a safety. Punters are people too, kids. Of course, where does it come down to? Russell Wilson selling in the playoffs. I don't understand why this is a thing all of a sudden, but it just has been a problem ever since joining Denver here. And unfortunately, the prime golden opportunity is absolutely squandered. If it's the Dallas Cowboys, I just don't think there's a chance the Chargers win this, which is really disappointing, but it is what it is. I mean, it's still further than we made it, I guess, but yikes, especially when you're probably going to be losing Justin Simmons, some other guys like Leighton Vander Esch. Although, on the positive side, to keep things positive, it is, of course, the Cowboys. You could also add players. It might be a better team, technically, because we might find some sick linebacker, and, of course, the Cowboys do win. 72 mil. Maybe we do just take the L on Simmons, because, I mean, we have a lot of money, and, you know, you got to feel like this or the next season. I mean, we're kind of on that range of, you know, being that team, right? But I do want to see potential dev-ups. I also want to see the overall of Russell Wilson. I want him to be a 94 by now. 91. I think, you know, his season where he kind of played badly, 92 overall was still fair. Badly as in like 36 touchdowns, 14 picks or something. This was an MVP season, though. It's a little bit different. I want him to be around 92 throw power. That's fair enough. Throw under pressure up a little bit. How am I going to get him to 95 without being too OP? Nah, he's just going to be OP, I guess. But I suppose he deserves it. He's played really well. But for those dev-ups, like we said, so what is his name? Cortland Sutton. He's probably about 30, 29. Got to X Factor. The man absolutely has saved it for us here with these dev-ups. Defensively, no dev-ups to my knowledge, unfortunately. Elliott didn't even go up, which is really harsh, but fair enough, I guess. Chubb is still here. I don't think we can get rid of him, but, you know, it would be nice to. And then Simmons, he's still a high overall. He's a 91 overall, but he's 31. 87 zone coverage. I think he can almost do better. If he's not willing to drop his number or, you know, his years, we might just let him go. It kind of depends on that tag. And then speaking of Garrett Bowles, he's played really well for us, and he's a very good overall for his, he's got good ratings for his overall. He signed the 1 year 13. That's fair enough for both sides. Draymond's great with finesse, but he really doesn't do much for us. You know, if you're not a good block shedder and you have high finesse and you're not getting sacks, then you're not really doing your job. As far as Leighton Vander Esch goes, not a bad signing from us. I don't think we can really afford the years. So if he's willing to do it to like a 2 year 20, I'm willing to do it. But once again, that's the problem. He isn't willing to do it. However, if the tag is too much for Simmons, we can tag Vander Esch because he's an 84 overall. He's pretty good. What's his name? Simmons drops down to a 3 year 39, which is actually less than I was going to give him. So this is kind of an L on his part. But let's try to add him back to the squad if we can. I mean, if he wants to sign that, he can. Thinks free agency would be better for him. I just don't agree. 18 mil. It's a little costly. But I'd probably be willing to pay that rather than Vander Esch, I suppose. Let's see if we made the right bet, because once again, we can afford to sign the opposite position that we went with. So if there's a bunch of safeties, this is a huge L. Joe Mixon, who's a freak, don't need him. David Bakhtiari would be nice. I'm not going to go for him. Linebacker, I don't see one yet. Nate Davis, don't need him, but he would be fun, but don't need him. Dexter Lawrence, we passed on him once. Do we pass on him again? I don't know, to be honest. We really need a middle linebacker, though, so we probably should have. I mean, we could have went with Jabril. I mean, I suppose either way, I think you're in a spot no matter what. So, yeah, we do see Nick Bolton. It's a 5 year 50, though, which I'm not a huge fan of. You know what? Actually, I kind of like that deal. I wish it was less years, but I'm willing to offer it. Also, once again, taken away from a division rival in a way. Obviously, they're not going for him here, but technically taken away from a division rival, which is pretty fun, pretty awesome. We still have 20 mil. I don't know who we have to pay, but this kind of almost feels like an all-in situation. Maybe not fully all-in, which I guess kind of defeats the purpose of calling it all-in, but adding Dexter Lawrence, which I don't know if we're guaranteed. We're not really guaranteed to get him. would really make this team, I mean, nearly unstoppable, right? It's a pretty sick squad. The Packers are willing to pay quite a bit as well. I think the money's fair. I just think most teams don't want to pay him this kind of money. We can draft DT, so I'm not going to go any higher than that. And, yeah, we still have at least one more year with our tackle. And Elijah Vera Tucker, it's kind of unfair that he's being paid this little because, you know, I mean, he's very good for that age as well. That price, it's freaking less than, obviously, Garrett Bowles. But, yeah, let's go to the next round. I mean, there's not really much more we can do there. I mean, we're trying to save a little bit of money. Come on, Dexter. Come on, Dexter. Come on, Pondexter. At least one of these guys, specifically Bolton. And we get both of them, which is really nice. 20 mil to save as well. I think the draft pick is going to depend on what we need the most going forward. Corner be nice, but I think the guy we grabbed with a Moutier, which is fine. Sutton probably gets a re-sign. Simmons doesn't. So safety is definitely on the list. Williams is going to cost a lot, but you absolutely keep him. Leonard Williams, speaking of another Williams, we're going to let him go. Reisner probably going to go. So tackle is probably the number one. I'd say tackle is the number one thing we need to go for. Tackle and then safety maybe in the second round. That's the plan. I wonder if Seattle had a quarterback before this, but pick 9, they grab a quarterback. All right. We trade pick 30, Presley, and pick 91 to the Panthers for 21. Which we'll be using to grab a cornerback with pretty decent looking zone coverage who will probably play future starting safety. Dexter Hill, he's 6'3" on top of it. B zone coverage, pretty damn athletic, 19 bench reps, so he's strong. This is a good spot to grab him, and of course, as usual, another normal dev dude. We also have another decent safety, but I didn't know enough about him. I will say I do think he probably will be good. I do think he probably... Okay. Sergio Meredith. I don't think we're going to grab him, but... he looks very good. I just don't know anything about him. I know his hit power and everything else, kind of like a bunch of C's. I don't really know if he's a good player or not. The guy that we grabbed definitely looked like the better of the players. And then this guy, of course, I'm done passing on these, these centers that you can play tackle. At least this guy isn't like the other ones. The other ones were like 6'2", 6'3". This guy is 6'5", 314, and he's athletic. So it's kind of a waste to put him at center, actually. So we're going to probably move up to, 18 in the second round, grab him, and be happy that we finally got a hidden development player. Trading up to Cincinnati, 62 and 94 for 49. There's also a sick, speedily middle linebacker that I may go for. We'll see. Maybe even is built to play safety, ironically enough. This guy, I don't know how he's this fast, but 4.35. I mean... that's pretty nuts. This guy's kind of a freak. But James Jones, the new tackle for the future. Hidden development trade. Who would have thought? We trade a future second and pick 126 this year to move up to the first pick in the third round. This is kind of a little bit of a risky one, but we could also use middle linebacker going forward, and we obviously could use safety potentially. Well, maybe not obviously, but we still could potentially use a safety. It's tough to pass on this Curtis guy because I also think he's going to be a hidden development trait, but ultimately, this middle linebacker looks way too freaky not to grab. I just wonder what EA is going to say a 4.35 is. I'd say they're probably going to say like 91 speed. Probably should be about 93, but we'll see. Scott White, 91 speed is expected. Hidden development trait. I will say, based on like his build, I'm a little surprised he is hidden. I would have thought he would have actually been normal because he's so freaky that, they want you to actually have to earn his progression, but I guess they had other plans. A little bit lower in the change direction than I would have thought. So, that whole potentially playing safety thing isn't, something we can't do, but probably wouldn't be very realistic. He's an undrafted free agent, but another safety. Why not? Daniel McKenzie, 89 speed, 89 excel, change direction, all that sucks. But it'd be what it'd be. Just a backup. Who cares? Also, I may have forgotten to grab a kicker. We'll snag one real quick. So we have 3 kickers that have solid as their kick power. I'm trying to think of who's the best. I don't know if bench press actually plays a factor. It probably doesn't make any difference, but I'm going to just choose it because I have no other way of knowing anyways. So Mr. Shane Batten, why not? 90 kick power. We'll say the other guys, that one guy was like a 4.79, so you'd think that would be leg strength, right? But it might just be completely random. I don't know. If we can actually see the other two in free agency, if they're still there, we'll take a look. But the draft recap, any high overalls? So, I mean, you can see the corner was a 73 overall, so he is still an option at safety. 60 block shed is also pretty damn high for a corner. I can't imagine the highest corner in the game is much higher than something in the 70s. So Mr. Dexter Hill, because of that height, is going to be playing free safety. Maybe not actually playing it, but in the future at some point. Scott White, I want to take a look at that dev. I imagine the center is just, going to be star, but we'll take a look at him as well because we have to move him to left tackle, which is where he'll be playing more than likely next season, assuming there is a next season. As we are in year 4, so no matter what, I'd say there's only 2 seasons left, so there's a chance this is the year that we win it all, or, it's second to last season, and I guess it doesn't really matter too much anyways, but let's take a look at the center. James Jones, Packers wide receiver, obviously. Absolutely nuts. I mean, all 80s across the board pretty much as a rookie is really freaking insane. And then obviously left tackle, 76 already with a left tackle number. And superstar Dev, debatably the best pick we've had all rebuild. Will it matter, though? 77 already. Man, we really should not have went for our guy. Oh, actually, we want to see a few players in the draft recap. I want to see the corner that we could have had, and, of course, the safety. So it was Mr. Not him. Oh, no, it was Miller. Okay, so Miller was the guy. Lawrence Miller, normal development trade as well. A bit better, though. Definitely a bit better. He's got better jumping, better agility. Speed and excel may even be better. He's kind of similar, but I think a little bit better change of direction. And then where be me safety, pal? I just imagine this guy's going to be good. Where is he? Is this the guy, Meredith? Sergio Meredith? Normal development trade. Not better. Just not. Like I said, it's 50 block shed. That's an actual safety. So we trade Akeem Davis-Gaither and 128 to Washington for pick 66. I believe we took a little bit of a cap hit, but in the end, it was like the last season for Gaither anyways, I believe. And obviously that rookie just looks way too good not to start. We did re-sign Caden Stearns to a 2-year deal because it was like a 2-year 5. He's obviously very athletic, decent zone coverage. Of course, I'm just going to move him to strong safety now. And yeah, just get a couple of backup wide receivers, and we'll be good to go for Season 4. All right, here is the squad for Year 4. Very good. 92 overall wide receiver and 90 overall Judy, I believe. Obviously, Sutton's not super great in the deep route here for us, but really good release, short and medium. Great catching. Obviously, Judy's kind of an all-around guy with a little bit better in the deep route, so you have, multiple styles. Javonte's obviously a great trucking guy. Offensive line's pretty damn good. What about McGee? How has he developed so far? He's 23 only. He's still got time. Very good medium, decent short, okay catching. Yeah, he's still kind of just like a complimentary piece. He's not your go-to guy. Williams has been absolutely insane, and the fact that he's only an 87 is a little surprising. They made him a block shedder. And he's a god. What? How? I don't even understand, dude, but I ain't going to touch a damn thing because it's working. It's working, so why would I? We put Joseph at the number 2 spot because, once again, similar to the O'Shea Moutier to Darby situation, the overall, the ratings are actually very similar. I think 2 less man, 4 less zone, yet he's like 3 to 4 years younger. I just think it's better that way. He's also got the speed for a boundary corner, so there's that. Bolton's added to the team, I will admit. I thought he was an 85 out the gate. 83 overall, still really good because, once again, he's got an insane tackle. He's actually faster than I would have expected. Coverage is just good enough. Hit power is insane. Pursuit's really good. Play rec's really good. Just needs that block shed up a little bit more, maybe a little bit more awareness, and he's going to be a good player. Star development trait potentially is, just makes him that much better. Really worried about this cornerback spot, but outside of that, I really do like the way the team is looking, and I got to imagine yet another playoff season. But can we actually make it a little bit further and win the Super Bowl, perhaps? Oh, this could have been huge. So we're doing negotiations a little late this season, but that's all right. Sam Williams wants a 7-year $174, and honestly, He's been that good. He's actually been that good. Dalton Reisner, I don't know. We're actually kind of broke now. Sutton, I think you can get away with it. X Factors last pretty long. If he's 30, 31, hell no. But 29, I would appreciate it to be a 3-year, but it's fine. What else do we have? Simmons, probably not. Leonard Williams, definitely not. Reisner, like I said, probably not. What else do we have? Wan'Dale Robinson is actually really cheap here, so I'm going to do a 4-year worth, I don't know, like 15. I think he knows that he's kind of a backup. Does he really want to go to another team and, sign some prove-it deal? Can't prove it, and he's done for after 1 year. I don't know. It's completely up to him. But, yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of, wait and see on Dalton Reisner and Simmons perhaps with a tag. But fair enough. We could afford things. It was a 3-way tie, Week 17, going into this week, and the Chiefs apparently win the division. The Chargers lose, but the Chiefs, once again, also win. But we're back in the playoffs. Maybe not as pretty as last season, obviously, but still in it. Let's take a look at these numbers. Russell Wilson, worse than normal. Rushing was a little bit better than normal, though, so maybe that's why. And you kind of have to take away from something if you're going to do really good in something else. Sutton was pretty good. Judy was decent enough. Wan'Dale Robinson was pretty damn good. Probably outplayed that contract we just gave him. McGee, not a great year at all. Blocking was really good. Really good. And then once again, Williams, dude. 14 sacks. I don't get it. Of course, Chubb, I feel like, has reached the end of the road perhaps here. Kicking, the rookie, once again, 13 for 14. You just don't need to pay kickers in Madden. It's just unfortunate, but it's just the facts of life. And maybe Williams has won some, awards for best linebacker or something, but outside of that, can't imagine we would have had anything else, and no, he didn't even win that. So here it is, year 4, Super Bowl potential, but, I mean, of all the years, last year was definitely the year. If it wasn't last year, I don't really feel great about this year, but I'm not going to call the Dolphins just a complete pushover, but as far as a wild card opponent goes, it's not the toughest one to beat. You just got to really hope that you don't have to face the Chiefs, right? 7-3, still 7-3. The Dolphins up 10-7. I mean, like I said, don't want to call them a complete pushover. Thinking about the potential Chiefs matchup, and we might not even get that, as we're struggling to beat the damn Dolphins. I mean, they're literally winning by 3. They're down by 4. They're down by 1. Huge touchdown drive. Miami can't get it done. I just don't know, dude. I mean, Russell played pretty damn well, but I mean, if you can't beat this team comfortably, how do you beat the Chiefs? I don't see how that's possible. But hopefully we don't have to fight them. Maybe we play against some really bad team. Miami's here in the wild card as the home team, so you just never know. Who is it? It's probably the Chiefs, speaking of, isn't it? The Browns, not much better, to be fair, but still technically better. Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and Joke. That's all right. I think the real question is, who is their quarterback more than anything? That's what I want to know. We'll maybe get a glance. I don't see it. It's just punter-kicker thing. 3-0, a very slow start, but if it stays 3-0, I'd be cool with it. And it doesn't. Come on, team. Do better. Thank you. Missed the extra point, though. Makes it field goals very relevant. I don't like that. Huge pass down the field. Offense is moving. Come on. Do they get the touchdown? They get the 2-point, up by 7. Come on, defense. Defense! And they punt the ball with 3 minutes left. I mean, they did pin us well, but offense has a chance, and they win it. We're headed to the championship round. That was a surprising victory, especially the way it was kind of lining up. Carson Strong as their quarterback. Okay. Running game was actually pretty bad for both sides. Wan'Dale Robinson may need to fire his agent. Bradley Chubb, almost more sacks than his regular season. It was like half just in that game alone. Williams went off with 3. I don't understand how Williams is doing so well, though, when he has no pass rush moves. Batten, I really thought, it was kind of like they were down by 1 for a lot of the game because of that missed extra point. If we would have lost because of that, I would have done nothing about it. But I would have given him a swift DM saying, "Hey man, what are you doing that for?" That was kind of dumb. Of course, Mac Joseph seems to be holding his own out there. at the cornerback 2 spots. Surtain obviously just got to be absolutely clutching up for us because we're not really that great in cornerback. He must be just balling out, at least like lockdown-wise. Championship round against the Patriots. Once again, a winnable match. 83 overall, lower overall team. That AFC East, I mean, they struggle. I just hope they struggle against us. Come on, Denver. Good stop, got the touchdown. Good stop. Oh my God, with these rushing plays, dude. Can be giving up big rushing touchdowns to the freaking Patriots. Up 10, though, at half. Up a lot more. 31-7. They missed an extra point on top of it, although the Patriots aren't done yet, and they are now, as Denver is headed to the Super Bowl. Mac Jones still here. Really bad performance. Russell Wilson was very solid. Javonte killed it. Obviously, Damian Harris had some good gains himself. A lot of rushing success. And, man, Wan'Dale Robinson is having himself a year. Bradley Chubb, after that last game and this one, has the same as his regular season sacks. I suppose at least he's showing some value, but okay, I mean, it'd be nice to also get that in the regular season as well. Maybe would have had a bye week. The Panthers, just as bad, to be honest. I think Rodgers is on that team. 87 overall. Let's actually take a look at our devs before then, because we might have had some. And not that it really changes too much for us personally, but none on offense. Defensively, maybe. And none. Man, we really have not had any dev ups on defense, like, at all. Here it is. All the potential crap talk, because it hasn't technically worked out as quickly as some would have expected. And you're looking pretty good. You're looking pretty good. Halftime score of 30-0. 37-0. I mean, other than this being against Seattle, there's no better feeling for Denver here as they smoke them. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to show the Super Bowl celebration ever again, but it doesn't matter because we get the gist. Russell Wilson kills it. Most likely Super Bowl MVP unless Javonte had like a touchdown receiving as well, which I don't think he did. He didn't, so I'd still say Russell probably gets it. Plus, it's good for the storyline of, the man they traded for, got him the MVP on top of it, but that's insane. Win, I suppose. W. So as far as this rebuild went, it was actually pretty realistic, right? You expect Russell to come in, play really well in the regular season, but at least maybe for that first, playoff run, assuming they get to it, because once again, it's not guaranteed. Russell could just, when's if he's actually on the decline? When's if he's actually on pace to retire? I don't think so, but we just don't know. Also, you just don't know how the rest of the Denver team's going to play. Maybe there's some injuries, whatever it is. But you got to imagine that first playoff run is going to be so much pressure because, Denver, they're kind of like a fringe playoff team. They can maybe get there. It's close, but they don't really have any realistic shot of making anything happen of it, going back to the Super Bowl without a quarterback. So the pressure would be immense. And we obviously saw that the first couple of seasons in the playoffs, Russell was very, very iffy. Not even iffy, he was just bad. Simply put, he was just really bad. But obviously, picked it up a little bit and now is a Super Bowl MVP, two-time champion, my man, Russell Wilson. And the majority of the guys that, he was kind of promised would be here for him when he was joining over are still here. You got the big three. The tight end, Alvarado, we still have to, see what's going to happen with him. The offensive line is literally intact. We didn't change a single thing. We just moved Reisner over. They developed pretty decently well. It took a little bit of time, but we got there. D-line we changed up, which we needed to. Williams was probably the biggest addition we had, besides obviously Russell, but that's not really our addition. I'm a Pirate, apparently. And, we ultimately won the big game. So the answer to this one is yes. Russell Wilson to the Broncos is a definite win. I think we already knew that. Hell, just for Denver Broncos fans, fun-wise, you trade all those draft picks, all those as in 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Fant. Just for the fun of the next couple of years, it's worth it, whether you suck or not, right? As long as you're like in 8 or 9 wins minimum. But that is pretty much going to be it. I guess we'll take a look at some of the ratings, perhaps. I'm not going to look at Russell because we technically boosted him, and I know there's going to be somebody crying in the comment section saying, oh, when you boost him, an MVP quarterback should be an 88 overall, obviously. It's like, you're just clueless, dude. It's the people that complain about the game being bad that complain about you fixing the things that makes the game bad. And I don't even think regression is really one of those things, because once again, if they ever do that, where ratings are dynamic based on how they're playing week to week, season to season, you can't really expect them to boost a guy that has an MVP type year from an 80 to a 90, right? Because then you'd also have to make it go down based on performance, and then you can never get out of a rut if you suck, right? And, people want to have fun even if they suck at the game. I should know that very much. So, Sam Williams, though, I mean, this man, the seasons he's had with no pass rush ability, 11.5, 14.5, 14, 14, just ridiculous numbers. Bradley Chubb was pretty good for us, actually, besides this season. And Surtain, he really didn't have that many picks, but I imagine he's just been locked down in coverage, right? You can't really get that many picks in Sim anyways, it seems. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know what you thought of the trade. We will definitely be doing one on the other side, which could be more fun, but also more frustrating. Obviously, the other side being no Russell Wilson, no Wagner. And that's basically it. Probably be some video tomorrow. I don't know if the rebuild for the Seahawks side of it will be that soon. Maybe. Depends on if I'm motivated, if I want to do it or not. It's more like I want to space them out a little bit because I want to have more content to work with rather than blow the load on the content. It's like, okay, what's next, So maybe it'll be a Sunday type of thing. We'll see. I did mention potentially streaming tonight around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch. Once again, I'll let you know in the community tab. Nothing's for sure, but nothing's for sure not for sure. I don't know what I'm saying, all right? Just relax. Anyways, thanks for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed, maybe leave a like, subscribe for new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays, and then I already mentioned twitch.com/Jeromepkr.tv. That's the one, not .com. I couldn't afford that. But anyways, hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!